everyone. Welcome back to today's Donkey Story Time. Miss Spear here, along with Ollie on this side today and Milo on the other. And today we are back with such a funny story. We have Eugenia Lincoln and the Unexpected Package, which remember is part of the Tales from Deckaroo Drive series. So if you like this one, definitely check out the other books in the series too. So far we have met a lot of very interesting characters, and I really love how the author, Kate DiCamillo, really shares with us a lot of very interesting and unique character traits. Remember, character traits are what we use to think about the characters and what we get to know about them. We start to kind of get to know them almost as friends. We've learned about Eugenia and how she likes things just so. She's very predictable. She's someone you could definitely count on, but she is no silly business, that's for sure. We've learned that Baby is not exactly a baby. Baby is an adult, but Baby is someone who always looks at the positive side of things. She would be a great person to call up on a day you were having a tough time. She would always have a really nice way of looking at things. And then we've met some of the neighbors. We've met Mrs. Watson and her pig Mercy. We've met Frank, the neighborhood boy who loves encyclopedias and is always there to help Miss Eugenia however she needs it. And then, if you remember, we had just met our latest character, Gaston, with the mushroom cap hat. Not truly a mushroom, but I like how they describe that. And here we are with chapter 5 today. So we'll go ahead and dive on in and read a few chapters together and see what other wild twists and turns come up today. All right, you ready, Milo? Chapter 5. They were in the kitchen. Gaston had the accordion strap around his neck. His velvet mushroom hat was on the table. I love how he keeps taking his hat on and off, on and off, on and off. So you see, said Gaston, it is a simple affair. You put the accordion around your neck and then depress the keys and squeeze the box, and the music arrives. Voila! Gaston closed his eyes. He squeezed the accordion. He depressed some keys. A small, sweet melody came into the world. Oh, how wonderful, said Baby. She clapped her hands. Yes, yes, said Gaston. Everyone must clap. Everyone must clap along because we are all playing the music. Frank clapped. Baby clapped. Eugenia did not clap. Gaston Latro's accordion playing got louder. General Washington, the cat, remember, looked up at Eugenia. Meow, he said, and then he left the room with his tail high in the air. I am interested in selling the instrument, shouted Eugenia. Do you care to purchase it? The back door opened. Mrs. Watson came into the kitchen, followed by Mr. Watson and the pig. We heard the music and thought maybe you were having a party. We are not having a party, said Eugenia. Welcome, welcome, said Gaston. He smiled with too many teeth again. Mr. Watson and Mrs. Watson smiled back. They started clapping along with Frank and Baby. Everyone clapping, except for Eugenia. I gotta be careful with my elbow. I don't want to poke you there, Ollie. The pig sat down in the middle of the kitchen floor. It grunted. Eugenia felt dizzy with frustration. She reached out and grabbed hold of the kitchen counter to steady herself. She waited. Surely there would be an end to this song. It could not go on forever, could it? When at last Gaston stopped playing, Eugenia spoke into the silence. She said, I will ask you again. Do you wish to purchase the accordion? No, no, said Gaston. I am here only for your lessons, so you may learn to play the sweet songs and the sad songs and all the little songs in between. I refuse, said Eugenia. You refuse to learn to play the music that is waiting inside your heart? There is no music waiting inside my heart. Everyone's heart has music, said Gaston. He came toward her, grinning his many-toothed grin. He took the accordion from around his neck and slipped the strap over Eugenia's head. Uh-oh. Suddenly, she was wearing an accordion. Oh, sis, dear, said Baby. You look marvelous. Inspiring, said Mr. Watson. How darling, said Mrs. Watson. The accordion was heavy. Also, Eugenia had no interest in looking marvelous, inspiring, or darling. Everything was wrong. Oh no, Ollie, what's she gonna do? Eugenia felt her face getting red. And here is the scene. Oops, sorry, I'll see if I can get you some more light. Ta-da! Miss Lincoln, said Frank. I will show you, said Gaston. You will squeeze and depress the keys. I will not squeeze and depress the key, said Eugenia. Ho, 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 laughed Gaston. You will press the key and learn to play the music of your heart. That is all. That is everything. He bent toward her. He put his hands over her hands. The man smelled like lilacs and musty curtains and butter. Eugenia felt another wave of dizziness roll over her. Gaston's fingers pushed her fingers down upon the keys. A small, heartbroken sound came out of the accordion. Eugenia could feel it reverberating somewhere deep inside her. Her heart quivered. You see, said Gaston. The kitchen became darker. Had a light gone out? Eugenia was trembling. I do not see, she said to Gaston. There was a rumble of thunder from somewhere far away. I think there might be a storm, said Mrs. Watson. The kitchen became darker still. Uh-oh, Milo. Let us try again, said Gaston. He wrapped his arms around Eugenia and pushed down her fingers gently, and the song exited the accordion and entered into the room. Eugenia felt as if someone had poked her with something hot and sharp, right in the heart. Here's the scene. I don't know, is that how the music from your heart's supposed to feel? Like a sharp poke? This, she said, is nonsense. She was alarmed to find that her voice was quavering. I will not participate. I refuse to participate. There was a crack of thunder, a flash of lightning. Just like that, Ollie. Thank you for the sound effects. The kitchen lights flickered. Eugenia took the accordion from around her neck. She handed it to Gaston. She said, I am going to my room now. And that is where Eugenia Lincoln went. She closed the door very, very firmly. Chapter 6. Eugenia got into her bed and pulled the covers over her head. But even from underneath the covers, she could hear that accordion music and the clapping, and it all had begun again. I love that she's not afraid of the thunderstorm. She's afraid of the accordion. General Washington, the cat, crept out from beneath the bed and got under the covers with Eugenia. Meow, he said. Eugenia could still feel Gaston's fingers on top of her fingers. She could still feel the note from the accordion reverberating into her body. It was a strange feeling. But was it necessarily a bad feeling? Nonsense, said Eugenia out loud into the darkness. And here's Eugenia, all covered up in bed. A little tricky to see her. And then Eugenia remembered what Frank had said. Don't you want to know who sent you the accordion? It's very mysterious, isn't it? Eugenia hated to admit it, but it was mysterious. It was unsettling. Who, indeed? The world was confusing, unpredictable, chaotic. Eugenia disapproved of confusion and unpredictability, and chaos. But despite her disapproval, there was still that existing mysterious accordion and the pigs that sat on couches and the little men who wore green velvet suits and his little mushroom cap. Eugenia pulled the covers up even higher. The storm continued outside. She could hear the rain beating down. The raindrops were so loud, so ferocious, that they almost drowned out the sound of the accordion music. Almost, but not quite. Underneath the covers, Eugenia put her hand on her heart. Was there truly music in it? Ridiculous, said Eugenia out loud. Gee-gaws, whoop-de-whoops, frivolity. From the kitchen, there came the sound of laughter. Eugenia Lincoln's heart hurt just the tiniest bit. She wasn't sure why. Here's the scene. She's not sure what to make of it all. Very uncertain, which very new for her. She's always certain. Huh. In the morning, Eugenia rose from her bed and went out to the kitchen and found that it was in severe disarray. Now, if you're wondering about disarray, listen, I'll paint a picture for you of what disarray is. Chairs were overturned, crumbs were on the counter, unwashed plates were piled in the sink. There was an entire fruitcake in the center of the kitchen table. A fly was hovering over it, buzzing happily. That's disarray. Baby, shouted Eugenia, I demand an explanation. The only answer was the buzzing of the fly. Business cards littered the floor. The cards were covered in strange and alarming words. Taxidermy, joyous, predictions, palpitations, truffles, fleas. This is unacceptable, said Eugenia. She walked into the living room and encountered Gaston Luttrell asleep on the couch, still wearing his velvet suit. His velvet hat was on his head. His hands were folded over his chest, and there was a smile on his lips. Here's the scene. Oops. And not to worry, that's not an actual shadow. That's the shadow of her in the doorway. And Gaston. The accordion, that instrument of torture and chaos, was on the chair beside the couch. Tell me I am dreaming, said Eugenia. Surely this is a nightmare. Gaston's eyes fluttered. His smile deepened. He said, Madame, I can show you. The music is within you. Eugenia put her hand on Gaston's shoulder and shook him as violently as she dared. His eyes remained closed. She smacked his lips and said, yes, the truffle of, he smacked his lips and said, yes, the truffle of course. The pig will be very useful in this regard. Wake up, shouted Eugenia. He's having some strange dream about truffles and pigs. Gaston snuggled more deeply into the couch. Eugenia turned her attention away from the little man. She looked at that accordion. Actually, she glared at it. Give me your best glare. That accordion. And horror of horrors, she felt it glaring at her in return. You are losing your mind, Eugenia Lincoln, she said out loud. It's time to put an end to this nonsense. All of it. The frivolity, the chaos, the whoop-de-whoops, the little man in green suits, the music in her heart, the talking aloud to herself. All of it had to stop. Eugenia picked up the accordion. It was very heavy, extremely heavy, entirely too heavy. Gaston made a snuffling noise. He smacked his lips some more. Eugenia looked over at him. She looked down at the accordion in her arms, and then she tiptoed across the living room and out the front door. General Washington followed her. There's Eugenia, the accordion, and her little kitty, headed out the door. Now, where are they heading? What are they doing? And what will become of the dreaded accordion? We shall just have to find out tomorrow. This one is a quick read, like I had mentioned, though, so not to worry. Won't leave you hanging too long. We'll get a chance to actually wrap up the story tomorrow and see how it all ends and what becomes of all this torture for Eugenia. For now, I will leave you with that thought, and we'll get ready to say goodbye for today. Remember to check our Google Classroom for updates each day. We've got some new special things to share with you. I know we have a lot of exciting things coming out this week with our Kearsarge Math League and getting a chance to wrap up some poetry and lots of other special surprises too. I will leave you with that and just remind you to look for moments where you can show caring and kindness to one another. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you all soon. Bye, guys.